Everybody. I said, good afternoon, everybody. We're honoring a community treasure here today, one that's been established since 1940. That's older than me. If you're older than me, you are old, or seasoned, as I like to say. It is a real pleasure to be here to honor and recognizing the community treasure we know as Jones Funeral Home today, here in the mayor's office. My name is Melvin Hubbard Eel, and I'm the senior community advisor for Mayor Gaming. And as I was thinking about this particular one today, when folks deal with death and grief, it's a very difficult time, as we all know. And so I put together a few words here. I'm not going to ask you to repeat them for me. I usually let them do that. I'm just going to say them to you today about how we feel on the 5th floor about Jones Funeral Home. First word comes to mind is compassion. You have that feeling that motivates people, such as Jones Funeral Home, to go out of their way to either relieve the physical, mental, or emotional pains of others. That's what you do. Do you agree with that? Amen. All right, now let me hear you now. Empathy is another word that comes to mind about Jones Funeral Home. So you have the ability to understand. And I believe that understanding is the rock on which man builds himself. Once you build understanding of something, you can go forth from there and share that feeling with others. That's what Jones Funeral does. Also, you're sensitive. Here you are. You're understanding. That's it. You also have that fellowship to you when they come in, that family. Wrap your arms around them and give them that love. You're family-centered, community-based for years and years and years to come. And most of all, you're serving with love. You are serving with distinction. And I must say, my favorite serving is you're serving from your heart. We congratulate you on this honor today, very well deserved. It's my pleasure at this time to bring to you our mayor, Ed Gainey.
You know, first, I just want to say thank you. You've done a lot for the community. And I didn't say the Hill District. I said you've done a lot for the community. Of course, I know many that have used your service, many that have come through. And everybody talks about y'all, everybody. It's like the neighborhood hangout on Wake Day. And I mean, I know people are coming there to grieve for the ones that they love, but let me be clear. There's also a healing that takes place right outside in the parking lot where everybody congregates and they bring up memories of the past. They talk about what that person meant to them. And some people haven't seen each other in 20 years, 30 years. And it's amazing how they find healing right at the place where the loved one is being laid out. And I think that I speak volumes of the love that you give to your business, the love that y'all give to each other, and the love that you definitely give to the community. That's just a reality. And I'm gonna say 8 out of 10 take place at Jones. Some might say 9 out of 10 take place. Some might say 10 out of 10. Whatever that number is, 80% up. You couldn't be in business since the 40s if you ain't doing something extremely right. Extremely right. So what I'm gonna do is that Jones has affected all of y'all in different ways. All y'all love this for a reason. Love what you do for a reason. It's not the same. Like it can't be the same because it's all universal love. So I always say that we never give our institutions or our families a minute to talk about why this love is so strong. We don't. We take it for granted until it's no longer there and then we reminisce. But we never talk about it in this present form. And each one of y'all love this for different reasons, way different reasons. And a lot of times we don't even share, we just let it go. And as the old people used to say, we'll take it with us. But we really should be not bearing it, but planting it so that you could tell exactly why you love it so much. You should, because all y'all have grown from it. And that's love all by itself. And so I'm gonna ask 5 of y'all, don't have me start calling no names because I know y'all. So I ain't got no problem calling no names. But I just want somebody, 5 of y'all, to come up here and talk about Why you love it so much? Who gonna go first? Oh, my mercy, I like that.
My name is Ron Green. This has been my honor, my prayer that I'm in a good place in my life now, whereas it's been such an honor to serve in this capacity for Jones Funeral Home. I can remember years ago when I started out as a limousine driver, and I came through there and I just learned so much. And I used to drive limo for Alcoa, but I never thought that I would get into the business of funeral business. But I've learned so much and so much compassion that goes along with this job. And I look at it now as a ministry. When I'm down there dressing the loved ones down there, I put my compassion into it. I dress them like they're going to go home, like they're going to see their father in their heavenly place. I get them in preparation. Means so much to me about preparing someone to go forth to see their father. I look at it in a much greater way. I take this thing so seriously. Even some of the workers come down there. I have a system downstairs that I've learned, but I've learned from the best. I've learned from the best. Carol Baker was my mentor. She taught me everything I knew in that basement. I used to stand over her and just watch her, and she showed me so much. And that's what got me really interested in doing what I do. But I thank God for my family. I thank God for Brandon. I've watched Brandon over the years. He's grown in great big amount. I can't say how much I am so proud of him. I got to say he does such tremendous work when he's sitting down with the families. And I can say this personally because he allows me to be in places where I'm probably one of the older ones in there, so I just wander around in there. I wander around in there, and if he allows me to just interject a few things, I'll say a few things, and I just hope it don't drop on deaf ears, and I'd say, well, but I believe Carol left me there for a reason. And basically, when I see Brandon, when I see him sometimes and he gets frustrated, I hope and pray that I'm there when frustration comes on him, that I can give him some kind of closure, some kind of settlement, something that can settle him down and where he can get back and focus on the main thing. And that's why I look at him as my son. I'll be 81 year old in January. And I just look at him every time I come in. I always ask, is he okay? I don't miss the time that he comes in and brings me all his son's toys, and I be putting them together for him. But I appreciate that. And Carol used to come up and see her and Diane. They bring these Christmas trees in, and I do the decorating of the Christmas trees. But that's what brought family together. But just to enclose, I just wanted to let you to know that there's so much more that God has planned for us. We are a young administration in the funeral business, but they're open-minded, they're grounded. I can see prosperity. I can see so many things flourishing through the heel. And I can see with our Tamika working in the administration part, how big and great that has been to keep us all grounded, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you, darling. I really do. I appreciate Elder's going through a lot of things himself in his sick ways, and I appreciate you. And Reverend Jeans, I appreciate you. All the things that you do when we sometimes get in fixtures and everything. I just wanted to take that time to just let you, and Dale, God's got something special for you. And you're not here just by happenstance. You stick in there, you hang in there, and watch God just raise you up in the way that he should. I have a lot of hope in for you. All we have to do is just stick with each other, surround Brandon with all the positive things, help him out in his business and in his endeavors, and watch us do great things. God bless all of you.
We got a minute. We got that. Oh, we got to get up.
Reverend Ernest Jeans III. Trust is what came to me. Thinking about this day, my first time being up there, family asked me to do a eulogy for their mother. And on my way out the door, Carol asked me for my telephone number, and she started calling me. And in the times going up there from time to time, I watched the operation of the funeral home. But when you're watching, you know, we're taught to watch as well as pray, you know, and I began to pray for them and just wanting things to be right for them. But more than that, along the way, over the years, I lost one of my sons and my oldest daughter. And even though I wasn't there then, I was still just doing services. They stood out and they offered me whatever kind of help they could do. And it meant so much to me. Sometimes when you're in this business, just a word, the right word, helps build a person back up, helps the healing process. So I looked at it as a family. When I went up there and talked to Brandon about being there at the funeral home to work there, first of all, I'm a preacher. I did not tie funeral home into preaching. I didn't do the two of them. But when I got up there and I talked to Brandon, and then going up there, Brandon gave me some keys. And I said, oh, I didn't know y'all just do it like that. But that was part of the trust. That was part of the trust. He gave me keys and he made me a part of it. Now, when I say I love preaching, I love preaching. I wasn't for dressing anybody. I'll be honest with y'all. I wasn't into that part about it. Then one day, Brother Green said, Reverend Jeans, come hold the hands up. And I said, I looked behind me. But, you know, being a part of this service, and I call it service because we serve. Yeah. We serve families. We try to serve the community. Yeah. We serve one another. And that's the most important part about it is trust and service. Yeah. And when you give that to families, when they come in those doors and they begin to trust you, they tell somebody else about how they trusted us to do the service for them. And it's so important. And so we're here today because God trusted us with what he gave us to do. Yeah. And it means a lot. It means a lot. So we want to continue to do the things that we're doing. We want to continue to reach out to the families like we reach out to them. And more than that, we want to keep serving. And as we continue to serve, we'll be able to stay into that healing process that it takes for this, for Jones Funeral Home to do.
All right, so I'm gonna take two more because I see I forgot we in the hood now. Who's going next? Come on up, sister. Now let me ask, and if I'm wrong and if I say it incorrectly, please correct me. I hear this name twice now. Really, I heard it 3 times because it's coming through the door. Carol. Miss Carol. She sounded like she was wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still is? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I just had to ask about Miss Carol because I feel the love in that name. Honestly, come on.
My name is Josephine Hattler. Everybody calls me Josie. My story with Jones Funeral Home started with Carol Baker Ford.
Yeah.
And it started in 2006. Carol was getting ready to go on maternity leave, and she said, "Miss Hattler, can you help me out?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." I had just retired from working at Pitt for 37 years. So I'm just going to come there and help you out while you're on maternity leave, and I'm out. But it didn't happen like that. I love people. I love working with people. I love showing compassion to people. And at that time, Carol was trying to do the bulletins for the families herself. So she said, "You know how to do them?" I said, "Well, I'll try." And that's how it all started for me. And I have a love and compassion for families that are grieving. And I like to show that love and compassion to them through a memorial tribute for their loved ones. So I try to get to know each family. Brandon can tell you. I said, "Well, what they're like? Are they quiet? Are they like to dance?" Because I want to personalize their memorial tribute for their loved one that gives a good representation and a keepsake for them. So that's how my story started with Jones Funeral Home about 17, 18 years ago. Yeah. And I don't mind doing what I'm doing. I like to do it, and people are interesting. I agree with you. There are a lot of stories have been told in that parking lot and in the funeral home, but have been stories of love, compassion, and happiness, even in a sad time. Okay. Yeah. So Jones Funeral Home has become part of my family. My family, the Hatley family, has done a lot in the Hill District. So here I am with Jones Funeral Home. Yeah. I love Jones Funeral Home. I love everyone there. And we are a family. Yeah. And Brandon, the day you sat down at Carol's seat, I told you, I said, "Don't let this consume you." But you're doing a wonderful job. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You've taken it to another level. I appreciate it. You got it. Yes.
I'll take the two. I'll take
Oh, you don't have a whole speech.
So me and Dale's going to kind of do this together. Just to tag on with everyone else, I would have to say the ministry at Jones Funeral Home, because we all have been in the situations that the families themselves are in. And also family, because most of the people that come to Jones Funeral Home Inc., they become our family, because needless to say, they're back time and time again. But I do want to thank Randy and also Peyton, AKA Cub, for just still being a part of the Jones Funeral Home Inc., but also sharing Miss Carol with us. Thank you. I didn't have the opportunity to work with Miss Carol at Jones Funeral Home, but I have had lots of conversations with her, and conversations that I still go back and I can fact check with different things. And I just want to say thank you again for sharing Miss Carol with the world.
Believe me, she was gonna be there if I said so or not.
Exactly. Exactly. But one thing, Mr. Mayor, we do have something for you on behalf of Brandon and the Jones Funeral Home crew. We know some years ago you have lost your sister, and want to give you this. And this is a thank you card for just appreciating Jones Funeral Home Inc. and what we do in the community. And this is just the beginning.
No, I appreciate y'all with all y'all have.
Yes, this is just the beginning. And thank you, sir. Thank you. Not a problem.
Yeah, so I'm gonna open this up, but I wanna finish this up first. Cause this is important. It ain't about ad today, it's about you. You know, so I wanna make sure I do this right. I usually don't do this, but this is special. Is there anybody else that wants to say something? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. If somebody else can come up and say something, absolutely. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Delvon Tate. Several years ago, on a trip, Brandon and I, we were in New Orleans and we took a picture under a sign that said funeral home. Didn't know what it'd mean 3 years later, as far as working right next to Brandon. Over those years, I have learned a lot from this young man. I'm older, so that's why I'm calling him a young man. But just to let you know, just real quick, that I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing me in, right hand man, and I'm with you till the wheels fall off. All right. Just want to let you know that. God bless you.
You got some love up in here.
You know I'm gonna let you go. You all right. I see you there. Come on.
Wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah.
So my name is Jeffrey Snipe, and I've been with the funeral home for 15, 20 years. Born and raised from the Hill. And even though I can call him my little cousin, even though he's taller than I am, but I retired from Port Authority, and I was thinking to myself, like, because my church is right across the street from the funeral home. And I went to Carl and said, I need some help with some drivers. So I got on. And one day Brandon said, and this was like my first day, he said, Jeff, come down and help me dress. Totally different experience, but it gave me a different view on what happens behind the scenes to what people see, the finished product. And just giving back to the community in that respect. Working for the funeral home, now people start to call me before they call the funeral home. So it just gave me a different perspective on being able to give back to the community around the people that I grew up with, because they know me personally, and now I'm connected even more with the funeral home. And the things that Brandon has done from the time he started till the time he's gotten here is enormous. And I've seen the concern, the weight, the responsibility that he was put on when Carol first got sick, and he had to sit in that seat and take the reins. And then as time went on, 10 years later, when she got well and then got sick again, he was already to some degree prepared on what was coming down the pipe. And I'm glad that he was able to shoulder those responsibilities and continue to keep the funeral home together. And the things that we do now in the other funeral homes look at us and use us as a model for that business. And he continued to do the compassion that Carol put out. And I think that speaks volumes, because a lot of funeral directors don't have that bedside manner, that compassion for the family that's sitting there grieving at that particular time. So that being said, little cuz, continue to do what you do, utilize the people around you, and we will continue to be that beacon on the hill in the funeral home business. Thank you very much.
You do know he like 6'5", though. He like 6'5". So usually I'm gonna do one more thing, because I always think the wife should speak. So I'm gonna ask the wife to come up and say some words.
Always prepared. Good afternoon, Sabrina Saunders Mosby, and I'm overjoyed at the idea of the ceremonial energy and tradition of this kind of celebration. My family is originally from the Hill District, and so Jones Funeral Home has been a part of our lives, you know, ever since I was born. A funny thing about our connection to the funeral home before I got married into the family was that my mom was always at the funeral home growing up. It was a place where she connected. And she always said that she wanted to work at a funeral home. And so, you know, who would have known that I would marry a mortician and kind of make her dreams come true. Brandon and I also had our first real encounter at a funeral. And so he will tell you that that's probably where he does his best work. But I was touched more intimately by Carol Baker, as it was mentioned, and her love for community, for the people that worked on the team at the funeral home, for her family, but also the care and the effort that she put into molding and mentoring and developing my spouse. Because we spend so much time at work. And so what he embodies is what his mother, who's Diane, and what his cousin, who, I mean, honestly, it was more like a sister, Carol, helped to mold. A wonderful man and a wonderful leader. The funeral home is most certainly that beacon on the hill for so many. But it's our home as a family. And so I am so grateful for this celebration and for a bright spot in a time when sometimes we forget to just celebrate and to thank God for what we have, and that's each other.
So, you always learn new things as we go on, right? I know my team like, all right, but I didn't know Mama was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, I mean, I can't, that Mama, come on. Mama, come on. Yeah.
I'm so proud of everybody here today. I mean, just everybody's wonderful. Mr. Green, he's my right hand there. I just love him. No matter what I ask him to do, he's on it, you know. And Reverend James, he's always there to help whenever, you know. And Tamika's telling us what we should be doing. Yeah. Elder Lamont fills in whenever he can. And Miss Hadley, no matter how many times we call her, yes, she's there for us. Yes, she is. Miss Hadley, do it over again. Okay, whatever you want, I'll do. So all around the room, everybody in Delvon, can't get any nicer than Delvon. Very pleasant, easy to work with. Yeah, I mean, they don't get me better than that. And then my son. I always want him to be better. You know how mom is, you know, be better, be better, be better. And he's doing quite well. I'm very proud of him. I get tearful sometime when I see how well he's doing. Yeah. And it's a blessing to mom. It's a blessing. So thank you everyone for coming today.
Brandon put his head up, yeah, you know that? So, hey, look, I take my hat off. My mom used to work for the medical examiner's office. She asked me one time, "Man, you want to come down and see where we put the bodies?" I said, "No." That ain't my thing right there. So whereas Jones Funeral Home, established in 1940 by the late Samuel J. Jones, has served as a cornerstone of the Hill District community for over 8 decades. 8 decades. Y'all should clap for that. Providing compassionate and dignified services to families during their most challenging and emotional times. And whereas under the leadership of Mr. Samuel J. Jones, the funeral home quickly became a treasured institution known for its unwavering commitment to families that it served all throughout the Hill District and all throughout the city. And whereas following the untimely passing of Mr. Jones, His legacy was carried forward by his close friend, Evan Baker, whose dedication and integrity ensured that the mission of the Jones Funeral Home continued and will stay intact. And whereas even Mr. Baker's daughter, Carol Baker, Carol Baker joined her father in the noble's endeavors and the services to the community, her commitment to the funeral home had extended far beyond the reach that most could see, embedding the values of compassion and service within the institution itself. The unexpected loss of Carol Baker in 2022 posed a challenge to the future of the Jones Funeral Home, yet her cousin, Brandon Mobley, stepped forward to assume leadership, ensuring the continuation of the great services that the funeral home has always provided in regards to its tradition and value. Now, therefore, Brandon Mosley, I recognize you and the Jones Institution today. I didn't say the Jones family, the Jones Institution today as your day in our most livable city of the city of Pittsburgh. May God continue.
My wife was at an event yesterday and she said, they have an hour. I said, an hour? I said, I better get some remarks together. So I wrote something down really quick, but I think we used that whole hour too, didn't we? Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mayor Ed Gainey for this incredible honor. Receiving this proclamation is deeply meaningful, not just for me, but for everyone who has been a part of the Jones Funeral Home journey. This moment is one I will cherish, and it reflects the legacy of so many who came before me. For over 80 years, Jones Funeral Home has had the privilege of serving the families of Pittsburgh with compassion, dignity, and care. We are not just a business, we are a part of the fabric of the community. 8 decades of trust from families during some of the most difficult moments of their lives is something we hold with immense responsibility and pride. Our motto, Keepers of the Tradition, is more than just words. It is the foundation of who we are and what we stand for. It reflects our commitment to honoring the legacy of those who came before us while adapting to meet the needs of today's families. This tradition of service and care is what has allowed us to stand strong for 80 years and is what will guide us forward for generations to come. This proclamation today is not just a recognition of the work we've done, it's a testament to the power of service and a reminder of how important it is to show up for each other. It inspires us to continue building on this foundation, to evolve with the needs of the families we serve, and to always uphold the values that have guided us for generations. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible team, past and present, who have helped make this work possible. Their dedication, professionalism, and heart have allowed us to touch countless lives in meaningful ways. I also would like to thank the families who have entrusted us over the years. Your confidence in us is a gift we never take for granted. Lastly, I would like to thank Mayor Gainey for his leadership and for taking the time to recognize the contributions of local businesses and institutions like ours. This honor affirms the strength of our city and the importance of standing together as a community. Thank you, Mayor Gainey, for this recognition, and thank you all for sharing in this special moment. Together, we will continue to be the keepers of the tradition and serve Pittsburgh with the same dedication and care for generations to come. Thank you all.